starting with our discussion of the day. So it is a very, very short session about the labeling and display regulation. So in this session, we are going to discuss what are the absolute mandatory requirements that should go on a food label according to this regulations. Once this session get over, if you want, you can share your labels with us and we can give our inputs to you. So you can share your labels with us on the email ID that we will share towards the end of this session. And we'll be happy to give our inputs about the label, that you might have to help you understand if the label is correct or not. Okay. Now, first of all, what is a label? So label is anything that helps us understand what is exactly inside the packet I'm holding. Is it a packet of a biscuit? Is it a packet of a chips? Is it a packet of clothes, shoes, accessories, or what exactly that I'm holding in my hand? What am I buying? That particular display on the packet itself is known as label. All right. So label is printed on a principal display panel. That is the most visible side of your packaging that is visible to your customer. The first thing that your customer sees is a label. Now let's talk about the mandatory requirements of the label. First and foremost thing is, of course, the name of the product. So the name of the product should be on the front side of your packet or your front of label. It should be visible enough for your consumer to identify the product. If you are putting any brand name or if you are putting any fancy name for your product, you have to check with the claims and advertisement regulation. Is there any definition around that word? For example, natural, fresh, genuine, and authentic, and all those words have their own definitions. The name of your product itself should be generic enough so that your consumer can identify it with. So something which doesn't contain, let's say something that doesn't contain orange, I cannot call that particular liquid as orange juice until and unless it has some orange in it or not, right? So I can't call grape juice as orange juice. So your name of the product should be clear enough so that your consumer can identify with your product. Next important thing is ingredient list. The ingredient list must be in descending order. That means it has to be whatever is present in the most amount in your product should be given first, and then we have to come back, come down towards the least amount of the ingredient that is present in my product. Your ingredient list must be clear. There are font sizes specified for each and everything depending on your principal display panel. Your ingredient list must have a heading that should say list of ingredients or ingredients. Just writing ingredients is also fine. If at all you are using any compound ingredient, for example, you are using, let's say, jam in one of your bakery product and you are writing jam as one of the ingredients. If at all the so you have to give the percentage of your compound ingredients, and if at all the percentage of this compound ingredient is more than 5% in your product, then you have to declare the sub ingredients of this particular compound ingredient as well. So if you are using jam as one of the ingredient of your bakery product, so you have to write, and the percentage of jam is more than 5% in your final product, you have to write down the ingredients of jam as well in this ingredient list. Then comes your nutritional information. So nutritional information table is mandatory for most of the food items. It must be legible. It should contain the nutrients, for example, energy, protein, carbohydrate, added sugars, total sugars, fats, Trans fat, saturated fatty acids, and sodium is what is mandatory, but from product to product, this requirement may vary. For example, if you are claiming anything around any vitamin and mineral in your product, you have to declare its amount in your nutritional information. If at all you are selling any fat spread or the bottle of oil or ghee, in that case, writing down the MUFA and KUFA content along with the other requirements is what is mandatory, right? And here, apart from just giving the, information of per gram or per ml or per pack size of your product, you also have to give the RDA contribution per serve in your product, whatever is present in your product. Next requirement is the veg and non-veg logo declaration. So any product which contains anything that is coming from animal origin, egg or gelatin or any other animal source ingredient, if your product has, you have to use this brown triangle inside brown rectangle. And for all the veg items, this green circle inside the green square is what is required to be put. Your veg or the non-veg logo must always be put on the front of your label in the close proximity of your product name or the brand name. Then comes the addresses. Now, writing down the address of the brand owner and the manufacturer or the repacker or the importer is absolutely required. Your address should be complete. It should have, the name of your company. It should have the exact, the site address along with the city, state, pin code, everything. All right. Then comes the FSSAI license number. So along with the address, the FSSAI license number of your brand owner, manufacturer, importer, etc. is also a mandatory requirement. Then comes net weight. So net weight should also whatever is the weight of your product should be written. If your product is liquid, it has to be given in ml or liter, of course. And if it is a solid product, we have to give it in gram or kg. And the requirement for net weight is defined by legal metrology. Then comes your customer care information, which again is a legal metrology requirement. So there are 4 things that is mandatory to be written in your customer care information. One is the name of the organization or the designation of the person who can be contacted during the time of requirement. If somebody want to send you a suggestion, in that case, they should be able to know who they are addressing to. Is it a customer care executive? Is it just the company's name or whatever it is? Second thing that is mandatory is the address, the complete address, including the state and the pin code. And then comes the phone number and the email ID. Then comes the MRP or the maximum retail price. So MRP should always have RS or rupee symbol written with it, and whatever the digits you are putting should be there, and they should be complete up to 2 decimals. Then comes your unit sale price, which is a recent requirement introduced by legal metrology. So unit sale price is, what is the price of per gram of your product or per ml of your product. In case the product is more than 1 kg or 1 liter, then you have to give the USP per liter or per kg, whatever the scenario or the case is with your product. Then comes the batch number. So there is no defined rule how to write the batch number, but writing batch number is very important because it helps us in traceability, which is again a legal requirement. Traceability means while looking at this batch number, you should be able to identify when this product was manufactured, in if you have different shifts, in that case, in which shift it was manufactured, what all raw materials did you use, from where you purchased those raw materials, from where the packaging material came from, what batch of packaging material you use. So everything should be traced just by looking at your batch number. So you can define your own system to identify the batch numbers for your product, but yeah, they should be good enough to help you in doing the complete traceability for that particular product. Then comes the date marking. So until very recently, until this new regulation came out 2020, writing best before was mandatory. But now writing best before is not a mandatory requirement. It is optional. If you wish to write it, you can write it. If not, that is also good enough. What is mandatory is writing down the date of manufacturing or packaging or bottling along with the expiry date or use by date. And these two dates should be written together near each other. So there shouldn't be anything in between your manufacturing date and expiry date. All right. So you can choose the format as MMDDYY or MMDDYYYY. That is the right format actually. That writing manufacturing date and expiry date is a mandatory requirement. They should be written near to each other. And for the products which have shelf life or more than 3 months, you can use you can use MMYYYY format. But in that case, the month is what you have to write in capital letters, at least up to 3 digits. For example, if your manufacturing date is June 2017, then you have to write down JUN/2017. Or you can just use this format that is here in front of us. So DDMMYYYY is also absolutely acceptable format for all types of products with whatever shelf life they have. Then comes the country of origin. This is the requirement for the products that are imported. For the products that are manufactured in India, this is not a mandatory requirement, but if you are importing any food product from any country, writing down the country of origin is what is mandatory. And finally comes our allergen declaration. So there are 8 allergens identified by the FSSAI. First is gluten, sulfides in concentration of more than 10 ppm, peanuts, milk and milk products, crustaceans, fish, egg and egg products. So all these 8 allergens, if at all are present in any of these eight allergens, if at all present in your product, in that case, you have to declare it on your label as allergen information contains gluten or contains soy or contains egg, whatever is the ingredient in your product. In case if your product is free from any of these allergens that I mentioned over here, but still you process these allergens in any other product, or there are chances of cross contamination at any stage, in that case you have to still declare this allergen declaration, and you have to still showcase sorry, you have to still write down a sentence saying that my product may contain, or there are chances of cross contamination. So yeah, we have to be very, very careful about whatever ingredient we are using. Before we go into the activity, the very, very short and small activity, do we have any questions? I know this is a very short session, as we have discussed in the beginning. This is just the basic of what is written in the regulation. Of course, the complete session on labeling regulation itself is a 4-hour session, a 4-hour class. We'll inform you if you are interested. We'll inform you about that class as and when we plan for it. But until here, do we have any question from anyone? If anyone has a question, please, you can raise your hand and we can take up the question before I jump to our small exercise that we have, designed for the session. Any question from anyone? All right. So I have received a question from Praneeth, and Praneeth is asking how to write USP for assorted pack consists of both solid and liquid products. Example, an assorted pack of honey and jam. So in that case, you have to, whatever is it, like I'm assuming that if it assorted product, there is a defined MRP for that particular product, right? So you are packing honey and jam in one packet, and that entire packet will have MRP. What is the weight of that entire packet? Let's say half kg honey, half kg jam. So the weight is 1 kg. And let's say the MRP of this product is, let's say 100 rupees. In that case, you have to define that for per gram, this entire product will cost you 0.1 rupee. Or if the cost is, whatever the cost is, you just have to divide it and you just have to give the total packets USP. It doesn't depend, what is, if it is assorted or not. I hope that answers your question. Then I have a question from Mr. Vivek. Ingredients in descending order is the rule of FSSAI, legal metrology. So, Mr. Vivek, it is the rule of FSSAI. What another question from Ms. Kritika. What are the mandatory parameters we need to write a nutritional label as per FDA? So, Ms. Pratika, I'm sorry, but this is the session clearly dedicated towards the FSSAI's regulation. I would love to answer that question, but not in this session. You can write me back and I will definitely come back to you. But let's stick to our discussion of the day. All right. Anything else from anyone? Next question is from Sharat. Which department need to enforce all these labeling requirements? If there is any discrepancy, whom to complain? FSSAI, definitely FSSAI. As a consumer, you have any problem with any food product, you can go back to FSSAI. But as somebody who is into food business, if you have problems, so I'll tell you, the things that are covered by legal metrology is net weight, customer care information, MRP, and of course now our USP. Apart from these three, four things, everything else is covered by FSSAI. But if you want to complain against any label or find any discrepancy, you can always go to FSSAI and raise your concern. Any other question? I take that it is a no. If we don't have a question, so Mr. Vivek, I think you have already participated in this exercise in our last session. But for everybody else, here is a very, very quick discussion that I'm going to have with you all as we are running out of time. So here is a label which has some discrepancies. In the chat box, if you can quickly write down your findings, that would be great. And after 2 minutes, I'm going to show you what all things are actually not right with this label. So what all things you think are not correct? Please write your answers in the chat box. Answers yet? Come on. I know this has not been a detailed session. That wasn't the point of this, but yeah, something that you might feel is not right. So there is an input from Kritika. USP expiry date is not mentioned. Okay. In nutritional table, person DB is not mentioned. FSSAI license number is not mentioned. Okay, Kritika, thank you. Who else? Okay, we have another input from Praneet. Date of manufacturing, percent RDA value, best before is not mandatory. Country of origin. Best before is not mandatory. Okay. Oh, all right. Then country of origin. Okay. Thank you. Jyotsna is saying descending order of weight in ingredient label is missing. Jyotsna, I didn't understand. Why do you think that it is not in descending order? How do you think that it is not in descending order? If you can please elaborate, that would help. Sharad is saying wedge logo. Okay. Meaning is saying allergen declaration is not there separately. Okay. Sharad again, allergens, veg logo, percent of banana as its banana drink. Thank you very much, Lavanya. That was on point. But yeah, for rest of the people, I did not discuss this as it is was not a detailed session. But yes, to clarify what Lavanya is saying is if you are emphasizing on any of your ingredient either through a picture or through words on your label. For example, here the product itself is a banana drink mix and it says with crunchy almonds. In that case, you have to write down the percentage of these two ingredients in your ingredient list. Praneet is also saying the similar thing. All right, guys. Anything else? Nothing? How almond is not mentioned in the ingredient list? Yes, Pratika, thank you for pointing that out. Address is incomplete. Thank you, Lavanya. Anything else? Customer care number is not there. What else is not there? Number, I agree. Apart from number, is there anything else that is missing? Email ID. Okay, all right. Okay, Praneet, FSSAI license number, I got it. Anything else? All right. Okay. So here is what I'll show you the actual things that were. I think you all have covered it all pretty much. So thank you for that. So yeah, veg logo, as you mentioned, almonds were not written in the ingredient list, but the product itself says that it contains almonds, so it has to be there in the ingredient list, and we have to show the percentage. Then acidity regulator was written. So additives, whenever you declare, the requirement for additive is you have to give the function of the additive along with either the INS number or the name of the additive. For example, if you see here, it just says acidity regulator. But which acidity regulator? It doesn't say. Is it citric acid? Is it lactic acid? Is it, something else that is providing the acidity to my product? I don't know. So the mandatory requirement is we have to declare the either the INS number or the name. So in this case, I would have written acetic acid INS 330 or acidity regulator INS 330 or acidity regulator citric acid. So whatever, you can choose either the INS or the name, but writing it down is very important. Allergen advice, I got it from you. Address was incomplete, was also pointed out. The batch number was also missing and the use by date was also missing. USB was not there, country of origin was not there, and yes, of course, the person DV was not there. So yeah, this was the small exercise, but after this session, I would, If you want to get your label reviewed by us, please share your label with us on my email ID, sudhi@foodsafetyworks.com, and we will definitely come back to you with our inputs.